Hey. What's up, good people? It's me, your homegirl, Ladosha Wright, the author of Curly Hair Adventures, What They Don't Tell You at the Hair Salon, and the Beauty and Barber Survival Plan that can be found on my Patreon page at Global Hair Care. And to those of you who don't know, that platform is all about home hair care maintenance. It's a membership to any and everybody who wants to know how to take care of their hair at home, and it also has a professional level. To those of you who are new to my YouTube channel, welcome fam, what up? And to those of you who already know who I be, what's up fam, how y'all doing out here? I am the hairstylist who loves to tell you what they don't tell you at the hair salon, and today we are only talking about porosity, the big P word. Remember Max Headroom? Don't say the P word. Y'all remember that? If you know about Max Headroom, then I want you to hit that heart button, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and share the love about Key Lolo, the only hairstylist in the world who is telling you everything that they don't tell you at the hair salon. I will. So let's jump right into the topic about porosity. Now, I know there are a lot of channels, a lot of information, a lot of articles about porosity, but let me tell you how I get my information about porosity. Number one, I work it every day. Then number two, I also subscribe to journals from actual doctors and dermatologists, people who are doing actual studies. I'm not one of those YouTube university graduates. I'm also definitely not a Google scholar. I'm actually always in training. As a matter of fact, I have a training coming up on Monday in trichology as well as hair coloring. So I am one of those professionals who is of the mindset that you cannot microwave this stuff. So in no stretch of the imagination, if you are a professional, do I want you to take this information and try to rock your client with it. But to those novices and people who are at home, this will be a lot of help. If you are a professional, go on and get you some education so you can understand this in this entire territory, okay? I just made that word up. So let's get down to business about porosity. So I see that there's a lot of misinformation about porosity, or maybe there's a big misunderstanding about what porosity is and does and how it affects our hair. So number one, here's what they don't tell you at the hair salon about porosity. Porosity is not one of those things in hair that's a fixed state. So I see there's this big whole push between like taking your hair and putting it in some water and see if it sinks to the bottom or flow. I don't know what is wrong with these people. You gotta be more careful out here watching these videos. That's one. Number two, I also hear a lot of stuff about porosity, like your hair is either porous or not porous, or they're trying to make it seem like it's something that's fixed. So here's what they don't tell you at the hair salon. So I have to get a little bit more technical. So here's my guest here, and she has wavy, textured hair. She also has color-treated hair, and so this is the type of hair that people might say it's porous because it's color treated, it's longer, long hair is older, so that hair has a tendency to be more fragile. Also, she washes and wears, so this is that texture or type of hair that gets clumped into something called porous, which a lot of people are describing as hair that's just fixed and always absorbing. And the goal is supposedly to lock moisture into the hair. I don't know. I'm gonna leave that alone, okay? So here's what they don't tell you at the hair salon. Number one, hair is skin. I cannot repeat this enough. And so if you don't believe me, just watch. I just have to say that, okay? No. So here is the actual scale of a skin, and as you can see, it has fibers coming out of it. So this is the skin, a little dermis layer and all that. So your hair is an appendage of this, and it's growing out of this reproductive or regenerative organ called a follicle. That's each individual strand. So with that being said, skin, in the previous video I talked about this, it responds to the climate. That's what skin does. And so even though porosity or porous or, over porous or whatever word I'm going to use this year, it's something that does happen. It is a condition of the hair. It's not fixed because in the science of hair being an appendage of your skin, your hair has like all these layers, okay? So the more layers you have, then the hair will be stronger and it can be resistant or less porous. And to those who don't have a lot of these cuticle layers, then the hair will be finer and it can be what they call more porous or high porosity, okay? But again, here's what they don't tell you at the hair salon. Hair, it climatizes. So even as you put styling products on it, you really can't lock it in because the hair itself is always responding. What hair care products are doing is reducing the likelihood of the hair responding all the time. So the longer you go without washing this off the hair to replenish it, to nourish it, you're going to see the hair do something that people are calling, it's porous. But that's not a fixed state. That's just a response of the hair naturally responding to what? Number one, it's not being shampooed. Number two, the minerals, the proteins, it's not being replenished. So things have to take place so that as you live with this hair, it can do what it naturally is supposed to do. So the goal to kind of stop or fix hair that's less porosity or high porosity or low porosity, you guys to be more careful out here, because what you could do is you can actually cause these scales to come off, and it's not so much that the hair will now be super porous or more. What's going to happen is the hair itself will start to literally break off and you will begin to lose your texture. So understand that porosity is the hair's natural response, be it high, normal, or less. That's what hair does. It moves with the environment, and that magic word is called climatize. So let's take her state right now of her hair is where it's a little bit porous. And how do we know? Because it's tangled, the cuticle layers are up. And so what we want to do is we want to now make this hair a lot more, porous so that the cuticles can lay flat, and then we want to be able to comb through it. If we make it too mushy, we make it too porosity, that would be, or have too much porosity, that's called over processed, and then her hair will begin to come out and break off and she'll lose the texture, and we see a lot of that. How do we see a lot of that? So I brought some hair care products. Now I'm not gonna put down any hair care products. I'm just going to talk about pretty much the consistency of products. So anything that's pretty much creamy. So there are so many creamy products out here. This is just one. So creamy is pretty much anything that's white and its consistency, and it's got like a smooth feel to it. Sometimes it's pliable. It might have some resins to cause the hair to stretch. Now I'm gonna be washing her hair out. So I want you to understand that when you're putting these things on top of the hair, some of these are designed to do what's called moisture binding, meaning they're going to track the moisture that's in the air to the hair so that the hair won't physically feel dry. Now, if you do too much of this and you leave it on too long, meaning you're not washing this off the hair in an organized fashion, the result is high porosity or over processed hair. So that's the hair's natural response, but it can't stay that way. So if you leave this stuff in the hair beyond, let's say 4 days, Houston, we're gonna have a big problem. So if you're doing these twist outs and all these rod sets, and you know, you're trying to find something that you can leave in your hair for a week, forget about it. Because what's going to happen is you're gonna cause these layers to start to pop off, not to the tune of over porous, but to the tune where these layers will come off. That second cortex, that second protein layer where all the fibers are bunched together, that's where the texture and the color is. Now it's going to snap and you're going to begin to lose texture. Now the longer your hair gets, sometimes that texture, you'll see it start to collapse because of the weight of the hair, number one. Number two, fiber count. We call that density. The less fibers of hair you have, you can also begin to see your texture, you know, it's going to start to collapse a little or soften. That's not necessarily you know, a result of porosity. That's just the weight of the hair. So you have two things to consider. Number one, what you're actually putting on your hair. Number two, how long you're leaving it on. And then as a side note, you know, make sure you're looking at the number of fibers you have on your hair, which I think that doesn't get enough, you know, enough play. So density plays a big role into how your hair is going to respond, and it's porous or resistant, or what you might call low porosity state. All right, so we got that. So now let's see another product. Okay, so now you have something like a gel. Now these are not bad products, okay? We're just talking about how these products can cause the hair to be what you guys are calling porous or resistant. So gels are what we call fixatives that are designed to lock the hair in place or set the hair. Fixatives. These products are going to resist, unlike the creams, they're going to attract, they're moisture binding. Gels are going to resist and they're going to lock in the pattern. But the result is the same, whether you're using a cream, whether you're using a gel. It can be natural, it can be organic, it doesn't matter. If you leave either one on too long, then the result is over processed hair, where the cuticle layers are going to start to come off. The outer cuticle layer, again, is responsible for how the hair feels and the manageability, the look. That those fibers in there, that's like your cortex. And all those bundles is where your melanin, your color, you know, your texture is on that layer. So if you leave those products on, either one, the cream or the gel, too long, these come off, right? That second layer is exposed, and now your hair is really doing some strange things. So you gotta be careful with trying to fix or lock or set this thing called porosity, because it's the ebb and flow of your hair's ability to respond as you move in and out of climates. So sometimes the porosity can work to your advantage in the case like the cream, because you want the moisture to come to the hair. The gel, you want it to lock out, and you really don't want the hair to be porous. Now you want it to be resistant because you want that hairstyle to set. When you're looking at my texture, so this style is flattened out, and of course I'm using products that's what? Resisting the moisture so the hair doesn't revert. But in either state, curly or natural or flat iron, I only have a window of opportunity of about 3 to 5 days before these outer layers start to come off, and then you're gonna have some problems. So when people are saying like, well, that's because color damaged your hair, oh, shut the ham sandwich up. It doesn't. You know, everything is going to compromise the hair to a degree according to this science, because we gotta manipulate it, we wanna style it. But the goal is to style the hair where you're not compromising this outer layer. So porosity is something that naturally occurs just in styling the hair, and the hair responding to the climate. So that's taking care of how hair climatizes, and when we come back in the next video, we're going to talk about how do we cleanse, how do we cleanse this hair that's quote unquote high porosity, low porosity resistant. I hope you find this helpful. I'll see you in the next video. You know what I say when I'm always signing out, right? A whole lot of peace, a whole lot of love, a whole lot of hair. If you ain't got no hair, don't want no hair, can't stand hair, ain't even trying to grow no hair, don't worry about it. Just wear your beautiful bald hair. I'll be back. Oh wait, where that thing at? Oh, my son told me I need this little thing here. Shazam!